Dave and Buster's, and they use what the car, the Easy Pass. They got rid of all the Easy Pass and they do what told by mail. So everything this devil is like gradually forming these things. It says to configuration, formation, manifestation, see, appearance, incarnation, to set up, to devise, to establish. See, he want to establish his new world order, so he established a chip. One thing about the new world order, all nations tried it and all nations failed. But one thing they failed at doing it because they forced the new world order in. See, one thing about this devil in this age, he's not forcing the new world order in, except when he starts slaughtering, just wilding out. This phase, he just gradually easing it on the people. And if the people kick up some, he might back off some, but still keep you in that chokehold, but get you breathing room. It's like reeling in a big fish with a weak line. You hold that fish too tight on that line, he gonna snap your line or might even break your pole. What you do is when the fish tighten up on your line and your pole bend real hard, what you wanna do is release your line and let him run. But don't let him run too far where he run into some weeds and tie you up and you can't get him out. But you let him run far enough and you tighten back up on him and reel him back in. Then you let him go again, you let him run, and you do that 5 or 6 times till you tire him out. Then you can reel him in. He's not putting up too much of a fight. You use your net and you scoop him. But if you think you about to bulldog that fish and pull him straight in with a weak line, he gonna break your line. And even if you got a strong enough line but a small hook, that hook is gonna rip out of his mouth. So to hold like a real strong fish, you need a strong pole, a strong line, and a big enough hook to hold in his mouth to really bulldog him and pull him straight in. But if you want to gradually pull him in and not lose him, and you could tell when you got like something heavy, like, oh, like I'm gonna lose him if I don't loosen up, and you'll release your line and let him run to tire him out. So, and that's what Esau is doing. He see the people resisting doing this, but he's also gradually he pacifying them too. He's pacifying them. And when you look up pacifier, it's deception, because the baby's crying and you give him the pacifier for him to shut up, but he think the pacifier is a titty. So he keeps sucking.
Thinking he gonna get
but he, in his mind, it ain't no milk coming out of it, but the baby is persistent and consistent. So he just suck it for hours thinking he gonna get milk out of it. But you done deceived him, but you don't wanna, if you're a mother, you don't wanna pop the titty, or you probably wanna save your milk, or you tired, you drain the energy. So you throw in the pacifier to deceive them, something that look like a titty, something that's soft like a titty, you know what I mean? And it's in your mouth, you feel it, and you pulling it, and you hoping milk come out of this shit soon. It's been an hour, your belly's still fucking hungry. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a pacifist do. Somebody who pacify the people, right? But a lot of times what the baby would do, he would spit the pacifier out and start crying. And you'll go and get it and give it to him again, he'll grab that shit and throw it at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I don't want this shit, you played me.
This shit is fake.
Like, you played, then you gotta come around and, give him something or feed him to curb his hunger. But that was a tool to use to buy you some time to do the laundry, you know what I mean? Maybe for her to please her husband, to cook a meal, or to clean a house, or to do whatever. That was her some time. So Esau, he does the same thing. He pacified her. He popped that pacifier in people's mouth to buy him certain time to reconstruct this, to double back on this, and so on.
That's what those stimulus is about. It was to give him some time, buy some time to develop his plan for other things. Because right after the stimulus, COVID went down a notch, but the protesting went up. So now it's a new op right now. All right, it's a new operation that they bring in. All right, that COVID was one step. The second step is this unrest. They call it America's unrest, civil unrest. And then you never know what the next step gonna be because they got chambers that the Lord is sending them through in order to bring out the ultimate thing where they lock it down. Because the curfew came with the protesting.
Right.
Yeah. And the curfew was a test for him.
Right. Yeah.
And if I may, where I work at in Midtown, it was a heavy FBI presence because they calling protesters terrorists now. So now they got a new face for terrorism. If you protesting, you could get hit with terrorist time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they all trying to line it up where they got the right and they taking your rights away to throw your ass in concentration camps.
Right. Yeah, and they know that, like the elder said, resistance. And people right now they set it up where you have the police and the military against the people. And if you're watching how the police are treating the so-called protesters, it's like they're at war. You know what I'm saying? You got them like, yo, back up, like, yo, kicking, punching them, like, you know, all kinds of shit. And the people also attacking the people, the police force, and that's done by design because there's something called dehumanization. And that's the tactic that Esau uses, especially when he's going to war against other countries. He uses the media. All right, the scriptures talk about how he uses perform miracles. He uses the media because the media, they could use the media to make somebody look like a god or somebody look like Satan. All right, so they could do that. So they use the media. All right, and that's how a lot of countries get into war. So they say, oh, this country, like Assad, for example, he's using chemical gas against his own people.
Right.
So you're gonna be like, damn, why is he doing that? And then America got to step in and say, so we got to stop that because he's killing his own people. Meanwhile, the truth is that's not what he's doing. But they need a reason to go in there. So what they do is they use the media to make somebody look bad. That way, nobody's gonna step back and be like, nah, you can't do that. These people are this. These people are regular people. They're not doing nothing. That's how they're gonna do that to come against us. They orchestrated a false flag attack. The recent one, the most recent one, was the one in Jersey. All right, and they said, oh, these are black Hebrew Israelites, they're terrorists, and all they do is curse white people out, and they say America is going to die and all this extra shit, you know? So now you've mustered up that anger within the people, like, nah, we don't want you to do this. Why are you saying that America's going to get destroyed? We live in America. We don't want this place to go down. So they use these tactics, all right, to dehumanize you, make you look like an animal, so it's easier to be killed off. No one's going to stand up and fight against somebody who's like an animal. Like, who cares?
Right,
You
so
see?
the people could be more on their side.
On their side.
You know, so they use the media to control the minds of the people.
Right.
See, the elites ain't like them old kings like Xerxes. When he came out, I think it was the second 300, he was like, whoa! And the whole kingdom was like, we with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or he could come out amongst the people and people respect him. The elites can't do that. They probably get shot dead.
Right.
You got these different militia groups doing it. So now they rule through what? Deception, through their witchcraft. And I'm just saying this to back the brother point. So media, you can look up Operation Mockingbird on your phone. Media just means middle. Like you got the medium. That's what in the middle. Or Yahweh Shah is the mediator between the Heavenly Father and the Israelite man. So media just means middle. So you be like, wow, why is the media called middle, but it deals with TV and shit? I don't get it. Because what sits between the elites and the people is the magazines, the TVs, the radio. So the way the elites control the minds of the people is through the media, because that's the middleman that actually do their witchcraft. Without the media, the elites wouldn't have a way to control all these people the way they do. Without mainly the TV, the billboards, the magazines, the commercials, social media. That's all part of the media to put those images and the programming in your mind to control the masses of the people.
I mean, they use the word publicity, but what is the key word to publicity? Public.
Right.
So the publicity, they pushing an agenda through, like you said, the media. And when you check out these channels and these companies that own certain channels, these news companies, they say publishing by so and so. These elites, these billion-dollar people who run these, they give them a set program to tell you. They'll give you like Channel 12 News. They'll run the same stories. They'll run the same, just to keep trying to put that in your mind to the public. This is what the Bronx is about. This is what Brooklyn is about. Everything it's so like BBC is a wide range of different news issues and RT, but when it comes down to these local channels, they ran by the elites.
And a lot of shit that be going on in these hoods don't get reported by the news.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You be like, damn, that shit happened. They don't report that shit because they don't want shame coming on the city. You know, they trying to make this place look like it's more beautiful. You know, that whore that had, you know, all the makeup on, but her shit was stinking. They trying to make this place look more beautiful than what it is. You know, I hear stories about mainly particular this borough, all the shit that be going on here, but a lot of it don't get reported. You know, it gets swept under the rug.
Yeah, like you were saying about the media too. You know, back in the ancient world, they will use, because media, you know, TV and so on and so forth. That's where you get your entertainment, you get your news, you get all of that. And back then, they used the games. Like, you know, you go to the Coliseum. That's when you would have the aristocrats or the leaders would have an opportunity to communicate with the peasant people. You know, so before the game start, if there's an announcement, they'll give the announcement. All right, and then you get your entertainment, so on and so forth. And then today you do that by your news. So like the elder said, is the middle ground between the people and the elites.
Right.
And like you were saying before, Esau this time is using he's using his brain instead of force to get the people. I was reading it. I think it was Antonius Pius or Marcus Aurelius, but I think it was Antonius Pius. Before he died, he said he was trying to teach his sons, because he adopted Marcus Aurelius and Commodus, and they were supposed to basically become the emperors after him. And he was trying to teach them that don't rule with an iron fist, okay? Don't, because tyrants, they live bitter lives, because they have to, he said, your guards can't protect your life against the people when they uprise against you, all right? So the best way to rule is to be mild, all right? You have to be able, you don't want people to be in constant fear of you, or else they will seek to what? Overthrow you. That's what they did with Caligula.
Caligula.
You know, they even his own men in his guard plotted on him so they could assassinate him because of how evil he was. They said, look, we'd be doing even Rome a disservice if we let him continue to rule. So Esau said, look, you look out through history, this ain't worked. So we have to, that's why now all they're saying is, we're doing this for your protection. Right. We're doing this for your good. We're doing this for your safety.
We're all together.
We're all together, because they want you to not see them as a threat.
To
more like
pacify.
Exactly.
Like who was that emperor, the Caesar that came after Nero, who he was running away and then they were like, yo, you're actually the righteous one.
Oh no, that was before Nero. That was Claudius.
Claudius, yeah, exactly.
That was after Caligula.
Caligula.
Yeah.
Caligula is the one that everybody hated, and then Claudius, he learned his lesson that, look, if I'm to get the people to support me and to live actually a peaceful life, I need to be on their side, okay? And if you read the book 48 Laws of Power, it tells you that, about how all these kings, Louis XIV, all these kings who ruled in ancient times, what they did was they had to get the people's support,
right?
Okay, in order for them to make any changes, to go to war with the people, or whatever it is, you have to gain the support of the people. Now, if you look at that, you look at the dichotomy between them and those who were against the people, what happens? They had to hide themselves.
Right.
You had a lot of emperors who couldn't even come onto the public. You see the movie, the show Game of Thrones, it has that as well. You know, you got the kings that have to hide themselves. They always have to be protected. The people don't love them. You go outside, the people are trying to kill you. Every corner you turn, you're trying to get killed, man. And that's the curse that the Lord put on Esau, going back to Cain. Okay, everybody who sees him wants to kill him, but the Lord said, no, I'm going to put a mark on you that when they see you, they're not going to put their hands on you until the judgment comes where Yahushua is the one who's going to put that judgment down, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
so like predominantly too, it was Jake. If you look at a lot of these different empires, it's always Jake who was revolting and, like, you know, being so hard to control because we were so different.
Hey, you check the curfew out. Manhattan was on lock, but you know, I do Uber and shit. All these other boroughs was turned up. Jake was out there barbecuing, Bed-Stuy, all these hoods and shit. South Bronx, they was out there chilling. House parties, all of that shit. It was like it was no curfew. But when you come like now Midtown Manhattan, that shit was a ghost town. It looked like some shit off a zombie land. Like, I mean, the streets was like pitch dark. You barely saw anybody. And this was before the curfew. But when you go into the other areas, and that's how I was able to scramble and make some bread, I had to play them Jake hoods because Jake was out, moving about, this and that, and you know, they like, man, fuck that mask. I ain't putting no mask on my face. Jake already rebellious, and then you got information leaking on how grimy this system is. So you know, Jake is getting more conscious to like certain things that's going on. So they like, man, fuck that. I ain't doing this, that, this, and that. You know, my father ain't give me no curfew, so man, you definitely ain't gonna give me no damn curfew. You know what I'm saying? So. Over there in Brownsville, on Mother Gaston, that strip right there, bro, they was all out there, drinking and shit, just hanging out, deep as hell. Police like, yeah, go in the house, but it was so many of them in different, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, you can't really, like, control that shit. You know, without, like, if you try to force it, you gonna cause some shit.
And another thing about that with Esau, they don't give a shit about Jake Hoods. They don't care if we catch it or catch corona. They don't care if we kill each other. What they doing with you go down to Midtown, try that shit, they protecting their property, they protecting their assets. So, you know, some stores got hit during the protest down there, but for the most part, you get caught protesting down there, you getting caught. I mean, not caught, but you gonna get locked up. Cause you gonna get caught. But for the most part, they ain't give a shit when you was protesting that. Only Manhattan. FBI presence is like on every other corner, 34th all the way up, 34th all the way down, from 14 all the way to 34th, and from 34th all the way to 86th Street.
And Jake forget that he a slave. You know what I'm saying? Like you looting in your own neighborhood.
That's right.
So when all this shit gets shut down and you gotta go to these spots to re-up, you can't even go to the supermarket no more because you destroyed your own fucking supermarket. Now, if the truckers was to come in, where they gonna drop this shit at? Y'all fuck the shelves up. Y'all just burn shit down. You know what I'm saying? I dropped this lady off in Co-op City, right over here in the Bronx. It's an area of the Bronx called Co-op City. And it's, she was like, yeah, we got our own police up here. She was telling me, Jake, old granny lady. So I was like, oh yeah, word. So I'm looking at it and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, this shit like a little, like gated. It's big though. It's big enough. Like its own little section. She was like, nah, they ain't come up here. She was like, nah, they would have stopped them as soon as they checked. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, damn, yeah. So Jake destroy their own shit that they gotta live off of, and thinking they hurting Esau. You ain't hurting Esau by doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Esau got the fatness of the earth. You know? You got that Mockingbird?
Yeah. This is Operation Mockingbird. It says Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate news media for propaganda purposes. It funded student and cultural organizations and magazines as front organizations. According to author Deborah Davis, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into propaganda network and influenced the operation of front groups.
Right, so there you go. But basically, so that's when they took over all the news outlets, all the media outlets to push that bullshit out there. And it all happened under Operation Mockingbird. Yeah.
Especially now, you know, especially being that we're in the information age, all right? Living in the information age, everything now is all based on the internet. Okay, so in order to have control, Esau said, look, I need to have that power over that the means of people's living. All right, people are influenced by social media now. Like, hence we have influencers. Okay, they go in there. They go in there, and guess what? All these things that's happening is taken away from people's identity, their uniqueness, their individuality. Okay, everybody, the way people think is based off of what they see. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go on Instagram, for example, your favorite athlete might say something, and all of a sudden, that's where you stand at. You might watch, let's say First Take, for example, and they might be talking about LeBron versus Kawhi Leonard or Steph Curry, whatever. You know, you might have your own opinion, but then after you watch, you might be like, yo, he right though. Yo, maybe, you know, LeBron is actually better than this guy. LeBron might be better than Jordan. Why? Because they keep repeating it over and over again, and it becomes perception, becomes reality. Okay? Now, and that all leads to what? Weakness. Okay, and the scriptures talk about that. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, start off at 14. It says, let go from thee mortal thoughts all right, cast away the burdens of man.
Hey, if I may add, because mortal thoughts, if you thinking like a mortal, you're going to live like a mortal and you're going to die like a mortal. That's why.
Mort means to die.
Exactly. Hey, yep.
Immortal means not to die.
And that's why Paul said, when this flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven, but we got to basically, this incorruption this corruption has to put on incorruption, and it's mortal immortality.
Right.
Okay?
Right. So mortal being, it says let go of the mortal thoughts, meaning thoughts that brings death.
Right.
Okay, and a lot of things that's in America is all about death, man.
Mhm.
Homosexuality, which is sodomy, you know, transgenderism, you know, adultery, you know, doing all these defiled acts, man. Things that is unseemly that people should be doing. That's what they do, because they take pleasure in things that's happy for the flesh.
Right.
Okay.
And as it says, thoughts of death. Right,
Right.
now, the scriptures say that all they that hate me love death.
Right.
And then if you thinking carnally, okay, it says a carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. So if you are enmity with the Most High, you hate the Most High. And if you hate him, you love death.
Right.
So if you thinking mortally, you eventually, you know, leading yourself to your grave.
That's it. It says, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Okay, the burdens of man is things that we gotta suffer in this flesh.
Right.
Okay, but then once you start thinking spiritually, everything is elevated. You know, how many times have we sat down and we go through stressful times and we think of the kingdom, we think of how the Lord has delivered us from many situations. All right, we think of the hell that's coming and how we have knowledge of what's coming. And a lot of people don't. You know, that alone gives you a little edge over a lot of people. You know, you look at it as a treasure, like, damn, this truth, like, we actually understand this thing, like, all hell that's coming, everything that we've been saying was gonna happen is actually happening.
Right.
And we said it was gonna happen, we believed it was gonna happen, we saw it happening. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy onto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Okay, what times is that talking about? It's talking about now and the times that's coming.
Right.
Okay, it says what? For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Okay, so we're talking about the martial law. All right, we're talking about when those mercenaries are being brought up into these streets. All right, and we're talking about a time like never before. All right, they're going from door to door, house to house, taking your wives, taking your daughters, taking your kids, whatever it might be, your sisters. All right, and they're gonna be raping people, they're gonna be killing people, shooting people. These are all things that we say, but a lot of people don't believe. You know, because it's never happened in America before. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that's happening now that you hear on the news and they say, oh, the first time ever, for the first time ever. And this has never been like this before. Like, this is global, this is world, this is this. It's all going to show you the end that we're in, man. We're in the end of times, the end of America, end of Esau society. Okay?
In his age.
In this age, God. It says what? Verse 17, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age. Okay, and as you can see through the social media, they've weakened a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? And now the biggest indication of people being weak is what's happening right now. You got people who go outside, got masks on, we just seen that. All right, you got people who comply to the unconstitutional ways of Esau because of fear. A lot of people don't want to resist, and why? Is because they don't have knowledge. They fear things that they don't know. You see, and that's why once you have the knowledge, which is the scriptures, fear is taken away from you.
Yeah,
Because
I
You
can
got it.
add right quick. Fear, you know, it's an acronym. Fuck everything and run,
Right.
or face everything and rise. Because people, one of the biggest enemies, Salaki, I cut you off.
You good.
I just want to lose this thought. One of the biggest enemies to mankind is fear. You know, this is the reason why a lot of goals don't get pursued. This is the reason why people be stuck on a dead-end job. This is the reason why you be stuck in this dead-end relationship that's constantly tear you apart. This is the reason why you refuse for fear. You know what I mean? That's like one of the biggest enemies to mankind itself. So with fear, it's fuck everything and run, which is a negative aspect of it, or face everything and rise, meaning you could say, all right, case in point, you like, I hate this job. But 12 years later, this guy is what? At that same job. Why is he there? Fear. You know what I'm saying? But he feared that if he leave that job, that the grass won't be green on the other side. But he should face everything and rise. Why don't you use fear? If you can't get rid of fear, you could stabilize it with fear. Like you poison fear with fear, meaning I fear being stuck at this job, being miserable, not working out, not eating, being stressed the hell out, gaining mad weight because of this job. So I'm gonna use me fearing being unhappy to push me forward.
Right.
That's face everything and rise. Instead of me fearing doing this, me fearing doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be with a woman in a dead-end relationship. You be like, man, I fear leaving her because I fear being by myself. That's fuck everything and run. You'll stay there. But you could neutralize fear with fear. Well, I fear if I stay with her, I'm gonna catch a domestic violence. I fear if I stay with her, my kids will grow up in a broken home. I fear if I stay with her, I will give her another baby. I fear if I stay with her, my life will be miserable. So I'm gonna use that to motivate me to get out of this relationship. So fuck everything and run, or you could face everything and rise. And if you can't get rid of fear, at least try to neutralize fear with fear on the positive side of the fence.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like you could use your fear. If you fear fuck everything and run, you're gonna face everything and rise. Because you fear that if you don't face everything and rise, you're gonna fuck everything and run. And if you fear facing everything and rising, then you're gonna fuck everything and run. So it's like, oh, that's
Yeah, it's
good.
a balance.
Yeah, it's a
You know what I'm
balance.
saying? Like, because fear is a bad element, but if you can't, like I said, if it don't just go away, you can neutralize it, but by face everything and rise. Like if someone came shooting right now, you be like, yo, fuck that, I'm about to run because I'm scared. But if you be like, hold up, I fear if I run and leave my brothers, all of Israel is going to look at me as a coward. So by me fearing being looked at as a coward, it forces me to stay here with my brothers and fight the battle that's coming.
Hey, that's beautiful, man. Hey, that element of fear, hey, Tawadi Yabashmi Al-Shah, man, everything is done to perfection. You know, because really fear stops you from doing a lot of dumb shit too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, fear fuels you to do a lot of progressive things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how we got in the truth. We got in the truth mostly because of fear.
Fear the Lord.
Right. You fear the
Gain
Lord,
wisdom.
you gain wisdom.
Yeah,
You know, and also fear of the Lord is what stops you from doing a lot of dumbass shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this world. I don't want to be destroyed with this world. So guess what? Through the fear of the Most High, I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
And even on the exercise tip, not necessarily y'all brothers, but a lot of people is driven to exercise so much because they fear of being unhealthy.
Right.
You'll think like, yo, this dude exercise hard as hell like that because he want to impress the women, which most people do. They just trying to use a woman's hypergamy to try to impress them and get the girls and try to flex for vainglory. But a lot of people, they exercise hard like that because they had somebody in their family with diabetes or high blood pressure, or they seen their great grandmother, you know what I mean, get her leg amputated, some big mama's house soul food shit, you know what I'm saying? So they fear of catching a stroke. They fear of being lazy. They fear of catching a heart attack. So you be like, yo, that's why this dude is so persistent. So it drives him to eat healthy, to live a healthy lifestyle from that type of fear.
Right. Hey, and that's beautiful that you said that too, because
Got 10 minutes. I
10
mean 10% off.
10%. Yeah.
Oh, let me get this precept real quick, and then so it says here, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men.
Right.
But we are made manifest unto the Most High, and I trust also are made manifest into your conscience. So
we through fear of the Most High, we persuade men. So starting from my elders and apostles on down, they were using the scriptures, okay, which is all about fear, okay, righteous fear of the Most High, to what? Persuade us to get into this truth, man. And then we also doing the same thing to what? Persuade other brothers to wake up and say, yo, you know what? You gotta fear the Most High, because it's the lack of fear that brought us into this point. Now, once you start to fear the Most High, it's gonna make us rise up. Okay, instead of running, we're gonna rise.
Right.
Okay, and that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? But going back to the exercise thing, you know, scriptures tell you that bodily exercises profiteth little. Okay, so you got, hey, we live in a very stressful world. you know, you got people who work out for different reasons, okay? Like the elder said, you got people who work out for women, you got people who work out for money, whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? But for us, through the Spirit, we ain't look at it that way. Why? Because we got something more than all of this shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? We're thinking big. You know, for me personally, working out was as a means of therapy for me. You know, I'm a student in school. I'm taking all these classes. I'm stressed out. I'm not thinking of women. I'm thinking of, you know what, I'm gonna hit the gym and work out and relieve some stress. You know what I'm saying? And then guess what? I like to challenge myself. How much can I lift? Can I lift heavier than this? Let's do it. Let's challenge each other. You know, and that's all. It's all about what? Challenging each other, making each other better. You know, we do it in the scriptures and we do it physically as well, all around. You know what I'm saying? But going back to you see chariots?
I saw one, but it was faint. Yeah, it was faint.
You know what I'm saying? But going back to the point of fear, man, it stops us from doing a lot of dumb shit. Okay, and it also fuels us to do a lot of right things. Okay, get that.
Yeah, because the battery's down, so you know what? We're just gonna hit them. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Right.
All right. So you gotta have that fear because ultimately, like you were saying, you can use fear to your benefit. All right, by knowing how to use the fear. You know, if you fear the Lord, you're not gonna fear anything else, and you're gonna obey the Lord. If you don't fear somebody, you do not obey them. Okay? Because you're gonna be like, I don't care if I don't listen to you, because what's gonna happen to me? Nothing, right? But if I fear you, I'm gonna listen to what you're gonna say. And if we follow the ways of the Lord, the scriptures say all those that leave from it, basically you're gonna die if you depart from the ways of the Lord. So really, fear.
Esau using fear too to take the chip.
Exactly.
A lot, because you're not gonna be able to buy and sell. So people gonna be like, well, how I'm gonna eat then? How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna do that? They're gonna fear about how they gonna maintain their livelihood, how they gonna feed their kids, and through that fear, they take the chip.
They're gonna fear Esau over the Most High.
Right.
See, fear in two different aspects. You can fear the Most High unto righteousness, or you can fear Esau unto wickedness.
Right.
Hey, and that's why Esau has used fear and to create some type of dependence on his system. You know, he locked everything down. Now people are in what? They have to listen to what Esau got to say. Number two, he gave you all these stimulus checks, and he did away with all these small businesses. So in case things were to open back up, where you gonna go get your money from? Because everything is closed down. Now, what's gonna happen now is you depending on him. He says, look, I'm giving you all this money. How you gonna be able to live your regular life, buy and sell? You can't do that by depending on what we gotta do, which is a whole new system that has to do with the RFID microchip. See, so right now he's using little increments, little step-by-steps, right? Taking away anything that will give you that independency, all right? And now he's doing everything that you could interdepend on him, okay? Interdependence, meaning what? You have to do things that's like, okay, one step, this step here, you need to get some gas, you need the RFID chip, you can't use your card. You need to get some food from here, you need to sell this, you wanna do this from Amazon, you wanna do this, you have to be identified. That's where the RFID chip comes in, okay? So everything is being circled as in like a trap, okay? A net, the internet, okay? To trap people, okay? Now, I have a precept for the elder real fast, but I also want to finish this in 2nd Ezra, going back to how people are weak, okay? 2nd Ezra 14, verse 17 says, for look how much